Eagle's voice. Yeah, baby. Okay, so welcome to Connecting the Dot, episode number 3. Yeah. Wherever you're joining me from, anywhere in the continent, Asia, Africa, America, Atlantic Ocean, anywhere you are so welcome to Connecting the Dot, because this is where we bring out the spice from within, and we are very much conscious to ensure that you get the best out of Connecting the Dot, because we are here because of you, and because of you is what we do, so that you can get the best out of things that you might not even be able to connect. That is why we're going to Asia today, and I'm saying welcome to everybody that is joining. If you've not subscribed, please do well to click on that subscribe button. It is very much important for us so that we can know that you are listening to us. Get your feedback, put it in the comment button. If you are listening to us via Facebook, Instagram, please share this link and tell someone to tell someone, because today I'm going to take you to Asia. Yep, you ready to connect with me? So, with a round of applause and my traditional way of saying welcome, I bring to you Miss Kerlinda. Welcome, Madam A.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, it's really nice to have you. You accepting our invite. We really say thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for accepting me here.
Wow, welcome. So let me tell you just a little spice about Kelly in the War, right? She has this fire from within, fire that connects a lot of things you might not imagine. It connects Babu and Amber. Oh, in case you're wondering what is Babu and Amber, Babu and Amber is this German Shepherd and another kind of dog. Yeah, she likes to talk to them. Local dog. Okay, so she likes to speak to them whenever they are ill. Even when she's laying on the floor, Babu is laying, Amber is laying. You see that kind of connection? It's really a dotting connection. So basically, welcome Marvin Roots. That's the name of the organization. But before we rush into that, let's just get to know what is Kerlinda War.
Hello, I'm Kerlinda and I'm
Okay.
from India,
Oh,
and I'm from a small town in the corner of India,
wow.
Meghalaya, which is in border with Bangladesh.
Hmm.
So that's why we are so far away.
Wow, so far away, but we're bringing it here, right? So that people who are listening to us from all over the world can also get to know who she is and why she does what she do. So let's go to Marvin Roots, which is the name of your
Yes.
organization, right? Why Marvin Roots? Can you tell us the story behind Marvin Roots before we know what you're doing?
Okay.
Okay.
The story behind the name Marveling Roots is
Okay.
derived from a living root bridge, which is formed from a large fig tree, which is in the southern part of Meghalaya all the way to
Mm.
Bangladesh. People reside in those areas. They use these bridges to cross the river, especially in the
Oh.
monsoon, which is impossible for people to cross
Oh.
since the water level is high and the current of the water is so forced.
Mm.
So this bridge connect people from the village to the cultivation land to the forest, or even connected them between villages in that particular area.
Wow. So the bridge is the Marvin Road.
Yes.
Oh, wow, interesting. You see now that we don't just connect anyhow people, we connect the dots. Oh, Marvin Road. Okay, welcome. So tell us why Marvin Road. What do you do?
Yes, we named Marveling Roots because our project is we are working with children with disability
Okay.
in Cherrapunji.
Mm.
So this living root bridge does not form on its own.
Oh,
People use the tender roots of the tree, and they give line with a bamboo strip or arecanut tree all
okay.
the way to the other side of the river. So these
Okay.
roots grows. As it grows, it reaches to the other side
Mm.
and grows again and take years and years till it becomes a large, strong bridge which will connect people for 100 years.
Wow.
So children with disability
Mm.
also are just like these tender roots. If you give supports and guidance right at the early age, they will grow strong and independent, just like this living root bridge.
Wow, children with disability. I'm aware that a child, the age of a child, there are a certain age where you can say this person is a child. Do you have age restriction in your organization when you want to admit or focus on a child with disability?
when we try to reach to other children, we doesn't have the age particularly, especially for the young age, because as soon as we identify that the child has some sort of sign that the child is having a developmental delay, then we try to intervene. First, we do the reference that the parent has to go and see the doctor. Then after that, based on the diagnosis
Mm.
of the doctor, we do the intervention.
Wow. When you talk about disability, if I'm not wrong, according to the United Nations on the Convention of the Right of Persons with Disability, that's the UNCRPD, says disability is either a long-term physical,
Yes.
mental, or social, impairment that becomes a barrier when it comes to equal participation with every other person in the community or in the
Yes.
society. And this convention actually has a lot of articles
Mhm.
that helps to guide the interaction of persons with disability. We have that of the Article 6 that talks about women and girls with disability, Article 9 that talks about the accessibility, and a lot of articles like that. Now, you as a founder of Marveling Roots that focuses on children with disability,
Yes.
do you have a specific kind of it's actually right if you don't focus on all the disabilities,
Yes,
but do
yes.
you have a specific kind which you solely deal with?
Yes, we concentrate on children with developmental disability, like
Okay.
cerebral palsy, intellectual disability,
Mm,
and children with Down syndrome,
mm.
and also children with autistic. So
Oh,
beside that, we also look on children with visually impairment,
okay.
because they too need they need help and guidance from Marveling Roots.
Wow. But in case you're just tuning in, you're just joining in, I'm saying a very big welcome to you. Ekabo, bienvenue au programme, to this very beautiful Connecting the Dot. This is where we connect you to social visionaries, where they do a lot of spicy from within and make sure that the world is a better place. And we have Miss Kerlinda War in the studio with us talking about Marveling Root, our organization, and why she is being able to do that. But basically, you talk about disability. I'm aware that you're not a person with disability, right?
Yes.
So why you? Why are you venturing into focusing on children with disability?
So before telling you that, let's go back to my history.
Mm,
I
okay.
was born in a family with an abusive father. So,
Wow.
like being in that family, life is not easy. We face many circumstances. But
Mm.
as I grew up, I faced challenges outside because I'm the youngest, and my sibling like to tease me with the name of Monkey.
Oh.
So other children, that name doesn't stay inside the house, but it goes outside. So children in the school start calling me that. With my teacher never take my complaints too seriously. They
Mm.
said it's just a tease. So, but to me, it's emotional.
Oh,
It's
trauma.
yeah, it's emotional trauma. And also after that, my friend does not really accept me, and I face uh, like rejection from my friends. So before
Mm.
that, my father reject us, me and my siblings.
Mm.
Later, my friends will, but the feeling of rejection is too painful.
Mm.
I think many of us understand that if you face rejection anywhere,
Mhm.
that is the painful feeling that you have. It's like a torture to your life. But life goes on, and with the support of my family,
Mm.
and I don't give that seriously. I took part in many sports that's helped me come out from that trauma. And then on 2012, I complete my graduation. But as soon as I complete my graduation on social work, I got a job as a hostel warden in a school with of children with disability. So
Oh.
for 1.5 years, I stay with children with disability, and it was in that moment that my connection start with them. Then I understand them, and also learning about the story of rejection that they face in their own particular village. It reminds me how I felt when I faced rejection. So
Oh.
then after that, I just learned. I just want to start. I just realized that this is where I am, and I this is what I want to choose to be. So I decided to move on, and I when on 2013 I joined a course on rehabilitation, which is on rehabilitation therapy, which is a special course for children with developmental disability.
Mm.
And that's how I came into a connection with these children with disability when I'm working with.
Wow, interesting, kind of touching, but hey, it's fine to just take some handkerchief over there and wipe those dots in your face. It's actually okay. We are very cool with it. So far, you're being real. But basically, if you don't mind, right, why exactly were they calling you monkey? Was it just for a bad reason? Oh,
No, I was small,
okay.
and also I was so skinny as I suffer from tuberculosis as a young
Mm,
as when I was young.
okay.
So I look like
A
uh,
very
mm,
skinny. Oh, nice. But hey, no matter how, you are still a warrior, right? So, let's look back into Marvelin Ruth,
yes,
right? And this organization is registered in India, right?
yes.
Now, what have you done so far to change the narrative? What's the narrative of disability in India? How's it been like?
So since the place that I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
Cherrapunji, it's still it's so far away from the rest of India, and people don't really understand what disability is, and they don't really get into uh, they they don't really know a person with disability, and they hardly see them on the road, in the
Wow.
schools, any public place. So it's like a new thing for people, for the mainstream society back
Wow.
in my place.
Okay.
So there's lots of misunderstanding and superstitious belief,
Oh,
which the
give us
mainstream,
like some superstitious
yeah,
belief.
yeah, people believe that if someone has a son or a daughter with disabilities, mean the parents has committed something
Oh,
bad. That's why children or father or mother has committed adultery in their
oh,
life. So that's how the misunderstanding came into existence.
wow. But hey, I know there is, Marvelin Ruth, like you said, it
Mm,
connects a lot of things, and that is why you are here to
yes.
solve or to change the narrative. So far, so good. How have you been able to bridge the gap of this myth and of the rejection people face and the thinking about disability?
Yes, on 2019 we start to go deep into the community and understanding what is happening on the ground. So we find out that people don't really go out, people with disability,
Hmm.
and many don't know what is their rights. Usually, the government of India has a special scheme, or they have all these schemes that can be support people with disability, and
Yeah.
also they really want to make it more inclusive in a way, but
Mm.
people with disability does not come out. Maybe the parents don't really know what should they do, and that's why there is a gap between mm, the the support that they should receive,
Yeah.
and people with disability. So we went through and find out the real problem, and then till then we have already connected around 50 people with disability in
Wow.
getting in availing disability certificate and the unique identity card, which is very important here in India.
Hmm.
So that's how. But beside that, we have reached out to 20 children with disability, and we're helping them by on early intervention, where we support them on how parents can help children at home,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to the activities of daily living and also self-care.
Wow, that's pretty nice to know that you're doing this, especially because you don't have any form of disability, but you have this empathetical look. You have this empathetical, belief, the dots to want to change what it is to be, disabled. And now let's go a little bit lighter so that people will not feel, oh wow, it's not a sober moment, right? So I want you to look into the camera, don't look at me, right?
Yes.
And tell the viewer just this funny question kind of, because we're in the funny segment. Do you think, okay, let's start with, if you don't mind, how old are you? Or you want to skip that, it's fine if you want to skip.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
mind. Yeah,
fine. So do you think, or can you get married to a person with disability, and which kind of disability if you can?
yeah, that's really tricky. But you know, when you want to marry anyone,
Mm.
it depends on how much you love the
If you
person.
love, if there is love there,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
I don't mind if I get to anyone, and as long as I'm in love with the person. So
mm,
it can be any person with either with visually impairment, either with intellectual, either with anyone. So
mm.
a man is a man, so there's
Good.
no
A
difference.
man, even someone that is, helping us with the camera setting is also a
Yeah,
man. You're
yeah, no
right. You got it,
problem.
baby.
Yeah, love is blind.
Okay, great. So now let's talk about what people don't talk about, right? And
Yeah.
especially when it has to do with children, although it might not really affect children with disability because they might not, know the left from right.
Mm.
I'm talking about the LGBTQI community.
Yeah.
What's your thought about it?
Yeah. Regarding that, I have a friend who, and in my school, I have a classmate who, before we don't know what is that because we are in the village,
Mm.
so we just say that he look like a girl, but he's so beautiful.
Oh.
He's more beautiful than his sister. Don't talk about me.
Oh.
No, it's beyond compare. So we just accept he's friendly. So I don't think there's a difference. So I accept a person as it is, so as the person is, so there's no way to say that this is
So you're
different.
cool with the community,
Yeah,
the
I'm cool. I
LGBT?
have a friend, so I don't
Wow.
mind.
Okay, great, 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 great. Now, so moving on, what are the measurable impacts that you've done so far concerning Madeline Roots?
Okay, the major impact that
Yeah.
we have already achieved within these 3 years is like we have reached to around 100 people with disability, and
Mm.
out of those we have with the collaborating and networking with the government, we have support 60 people with disability in availing disability certificate, and also the pension scheme which is available in the
Mm.
by the state government of Meghalaya. And also we can see that there's a personal change among young people with disability. We have children, like we can tell a story about it,
Mm.
or that the
Wow.
that the change is visible.
Wow. Great, 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 great. Now, there is something we need to go into right away. I know a lot of stories you've talked about where
Mm.
you start from, you talked about connecting. Now, we want to be real because someone is listening to you out there and he or she is just wondering, I want to start something, I want to go into the NGO space, but doesn't know the left from the right, but still confused
Mm.
basically. And there is no, as much as there is sweet, there is sour, there
Yeah.
is good, there is bad. And I know you might have, because I don't know, let me say, I think you might have faced some challenges. So, what are your top two challenges you faced and how were you able to overcome them?
So the first challenge that we face when we go into the community is the attitude of the parents,
Hmm.
that we are really have to work on, where parents don't accept their children, their son or daughter, that they have disability, and they don't really accept. They don't want to come out and say, "Look, my child has a disability," and we told them that they need to have a disability certificate. They
Hmm.
just reject it. They said, "We'll do it later," or they promised at the beginning. They said, "Okay, we'll do that," but they never show up whenever we have any disability camp in the area. So that is the first challenge that we face.
Okay.
And the second challenge that we face right now as an organization is getting into a legal procedure of registration,
Hmm.
which takes a long time, but it has to be patient when it
Hmm.
comes to registration. But otherwise, we are working on many challenges, which is uh,
Finance.
yes, even yeah, that's really
Okay.
one of,
Okay.
but more than that, we dealing with attitude of the people.
Oh,
It's such a challenge that you have
wow.
to face every day in your life.
Wow. Great, great, great. Now, viewers up there, in case you have any question to ask or ask us, or you want us to feature, or something that you feel we could is disturbing you, and Kerlinda or I can answer, please put it in the chat box and the comment box. We will definitely do justice to that, and you will also be connecting something to someone out there. Now, let's move on to what does the future holds for you as Kerlinda War in the next 2 years? What should we be expecting you?
Yeah, in the next 2 years, I would like to put myself in a place where we can reach to all people with disability who are reside in every corner of the villages surrounding the Chirapunji, because they are the one who need support.
Mm.
And that's one. And the number two is I really want to see the community more inclusive, more integrated, where people with disability can come out without any discrimination or without any negative attitude of the mainstream society.
Wow, you talked about something that I perhaps would have forgotten because I always ask my viewers inclusion and integration, your thought about
Yes.
it.
So when we say there's a difference between, when we listen to the word, we find it difficult to differentiate between inclusion and integration. But inclusion is like we include in a circle,
Mm.
whereas integration is a bigger part of it, where everyone has their own parts of doing or participating within the society.
So inclusion doesn't, you mean if you're in doing or if you're practicing inclusion, you don't participate? Is that what you're saying?
No, we are inclusion is like we call them, we invite them, come
Mm.
here.
Mm.
Whereas integration, people with disability willingly
From the
participate.
foundation,
Yeah,
right? Okay, and I get what you're trying to say.
yeah.
So basically, we are coming to the end of the program. But before we let you go, what are your hobbies? Your hobbies?
Oh, my hobbies is
Yeah.
yeah, I love running around. I love
Oh.
playing games, and I
Mm.
love doing artworks with the plastic bottles, like the to reuse the
Are you a
waste. Yeah.
generalist?
Yeah, I love doing that
Okay.
as my part time, and one of my favorite is doing gardening.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
think we need you in Africa. We really need people like you that can run, that can garden, and all of that. But but it's actually nice. It's great. So, what is your advice to someone listening to you out there and would want to, start up an NGO or even want to do something to change the world? What's your advice for the person?
yeah, in today's world, there is much more problem than you can
Hmm.
name them. But
Wow. Are you scaring that?
no,
Okay.
but the
Just want to
problem
check.
is just a problem.
Okay.
But there's a way where you find out to solve those problems. So if you want to change the world,
Hmm.
be the change yourself and come out and do something so that this problem will not carry on to the next generation.
Wow. Do something so that it will not carry on to the next
Yeah.
generation. The word from Kerlinda. But before we let you go, as I usually say, right, I want you to speak in your language to our people out there. Tell them they should keep listening to Eagle's voice and make sure they tell someone to tell someone about this program. Say it in your language.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Lada pikwa ban tip shushu shapang kani ke program pila ban let chaka Eagle Voice but pila ban subscribe hapo jog kani ka channel kana wapin the bio tip kambun but kambanya kublai shibun.
Wow, bless your bird. At least if I didn't hear anything, you need to rewind that, viewers. But that was very, very nice. And we're
Thank
saying
you.
thank you for coming to our program. And we hope that when next we're calling you for another kind of episode, you'll be glad to, oblige us, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great. So, viewers out there, it's been a wonderful episode section with Kerlinda. Yeah, so this is where we draw the curtain on today's program of Connecting the Dot. One thing I always tell you, please do not forget that there is always a dot wherever you are, but it takes two to tango. It takes your inner eye, it takes you as an individual to realize what it needs to be connected to, and that needs a spice from within. And that is why we are here. The ego's voice, the voice that no one would want to listen to, the voice of change, the voice of the truth, and the voice that gives the best. That is one and only Oluwakemi Odusoya from Nigeria, aka Eagle's Voice, aka your beautiful baby sister. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain of today's show. Next time, next week, we're gonna bring someone interesting as the war lady, yeah, who is gonna spice up from within as well. Don't forget to please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram as well. That is at Radio Eaglet. Follow me on Twitter at Radio Eaglet. My Facebook page, my Facebook name, Oluwakemi Odusoya, and YouTube, very much important, where you listen as well. Eagle's Voice. Please, till next time, I say a very big thank you, merci to our cameraman, Louis, my love. Okay, so that's his name actually, so don't think. And a big thank you to every other crew that has joined in hand to make sure this is very, very possible. Till next time I come your way, it is peace out, baby.